What's up, everyone? It's Emorja, and I'm going to be kicking it here with one of my brothers here, Dr. Daniel Jean, correct?
Yes, sir. How you doing
All
today?
right. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Busy and blessed.
Yeah, that's definitely as black educators, that's something that we never can get rid of. Yeah, but it's all good though. It's something that I think that's part of our resilience. Something that we're always striving to do something better, always striving to do something, period. And
Yeah,
it comes with the
yeah.
territory though. So yeah, just tell our listeners, like for example, where you from?
So I'm from Newark, New Jersey, Brick City. I work at Montclair State University as the assistant provost for special programs. I'm the author of I Am, I Will, action achievement guide for folks to help folks claim their identity and be very intentional with their future goals.
Yeah.
I'm a professional speaker, trainer. I also started a group entitled Finished, PhD Finished, EDD Finished, hashtag
Yeah.
got next. And I have a lot of traction online trying to promote higher education, but also to provide resources and motivation for future doctors.
So tell me about a little bit about your story from the 1.9 GPA to earning a doctorate. How did that begin for you, and where did the things begin to change?
So, as I mentioned, I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, lost my father when I was 13, homeless, family moved over 12 times,
Oh wow.
very violent neighborhood. Educators told me I wouldn't live to see 25. Drug dealers and drug users in my family. Grew up on welfare, Haitian immigrants. Anti-intellectual environments where you had to dumb it down for the people around you.
Yeah.
All types of trauma and drama. So when I made it to college through one of the access programs in the state of New Jersey, EOF, I was connected with mentors and people who believed in me and saw my potential. And I was able to tap into the foundation that was placed in me by my parents at a very young age. And when I realized the power of mentorship in education, it really pushed me to move into that field and find paid and unpaid positions to help folks reach their personal and professional dreams.
In your journey, have you ever felt as if, and this is just a blunt question, that you were a failure because you probably didn't measure up to what society standards were for a black man to be successful?
Life is a journey, not a destination. So everything
Yeah.
you described is just part of that journey:
Yeah.
vulnerability, failure, success, imposter syndrome, self doubt.
Yeah.
The grit and the resilience you earn by surviving the circumstances that I mentioned and being able to thrive. So when you face adversity,
Yeah.
like quarantine and some of the things that folks that are facing that are driving them nuts. I'm a Haitian immigrant. My family came to the States for the American dream and running water. We've seen real poverty. We've seen real grim circumstances. So when you deal with what, can be seen as an inconvenience, obviously rest in power to everyone who's lost someone. It's really more of a lifestyle. If you haven't lost anyone in your immediate family, if you have gainful employment, there's a lot of things to be blessed that you're blessed in. So it's been really focusing on the blessings. And then when we talk about just kind of navigating the journey and failure, success is not final, failure is not fatal. You have an opportunity to move forward and grow. I was getting interviewed by another institution earlier today, and I was reminded that I applied to join the journalism program at Syracuse University when I first graduated from my undergrad, and I was rejected. And I remember putting that rejection letter in a frame.
Mm.
And ultimately, it was a blessing in disguise because it actually helped me pivot towards education and mentorship, and I haven't looked back since. So if I would have been in
Yeah.
a journalism program with the state of media now, that's a whole
Yeah.
different career path. So sometimes the failures are blessings in disguise. Maybe, a lot of folks, connected to God, not wanting you to have those certain things. So
Exactly.
you have to see it in context and understand that it's a journey, and you'll never be as young as you are today, right? So
Oh
just
no.
continue to move forward, strive for greatness, continue to learn from what you may deem as failures.
Yeah.
But it's either you win or you learn in most circumstances, and you just got to keep pushing forward.
Yeah, certainly, man. What's something, and I know that I'm pretty sure there's like a list of things, but what's something that you can think of off the top of your head of what you are most proud of as of where you are today?
So that's a great question. Um, a lot of folks will say I've accomplished a lot. I think it's fulfilling the dream of Haitian immigrants, like making my mother proud.
Okay.
I remember, so I was a straight A student. We joked earlier about my GPA, like, did I even show up to school? I was showing up to school, but when my father died, I started to fight in school. And when I look back, I was just angry. And my mother came to school one time and was crying because I got suspended. And she was saying, she has 5 children. I'm the youngest of the 5 children. First one to get suspended. And she's like, I just lost my husband. Please don't do this to me. Ooh. I'm in the hallway of the school crying. Yeah, you already know. I'm a
mama's boy.
Yeah, so the tears were flowing. And not that I didn't make mistakes after that, but it was just that seed was planted. Like, this is a bigger mission. They came here without being able to speak the language. Like, when I think about my previous generation, being able to come here and not being able to speak the language and setting up shop, there's a powerful message in that. So I can't take these blessings for granted. So my most proudest moment is making my mother proud. She may not know what a provost is, but she understands that I'm doing great things and she's proud of me, and she shares that with her family, which is very important in our culture.
Man, it's nothing like a mom's love. Especially whenever you've had to see, them make ends meet. And it's funny because a lot of things we don't see whenever we're younger, but when we get older, we're like, you had to deal with all of that, and yet you still found a way to wake up in the morning and still smile, and still take care of your family. So,
with no formal education, my parents weren't formally educated, so they came here and it was just, housekeeping jobs, maintenance work, right? Cleaning, washing people's floors, food stamps, welfare. So you get older and you're like, wow, this is, I'm married with children now, and it's like, wow, I couldn't imagine, again, coming to a country, not being able to speak the language, setting up shop, raising 5 children in the heart of Newark, New Jersey. That resilience and grit that they displayed, I really can't sit here and complain about my lifestyle right now and some of the inconveniences I'm facing.
Yeah, and that's why we always say you can never forget where you came from. No matter how many degrees we may get, we all have a beginning. And we can't, and I think it's always good to remember that because it shows you, one, how far you've come. But 2, it reminds you to be humble, because just as long as you've worked to get those things that you have today, God can easily take it away to remind you, don't forget, I'm still at the center of it all.
And that's an important piece too. I wrote a piece in Diverse Issues in Higher Ed, maybe we can add it to the comments, called "What Do You Call a Black Man with a PhD?"
Yeah.
And I really highlight my entire journey because that's what made me who I am. And there's a lot of things in society that are going to remind you of that or kind of impact your journey. And it's all part of your entire story. So I never forget who I am. And again, even my book, I Am, I Will, it's all about your identity, like really identifying who you are. Because anything you put after I am, no one can tell you that you're not.
Exactly.
And I Will being very intentional as it relates to your goals and aspirations moving forward.
Yeah. And the most important thing about that is and for it to come out of your mouth. Because, like I tell folks, one of my favorite scriptures is always Proverbs 18:21, that death and life is in the power of the tongue, they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. But we have the power to speak those things. And it may not happen right away, but it's like you said, it's the journey. And we have to give ourselves the opportunity to make those things, to develop those things, and for them to come to fruition. But it takes work. So, yeah, man. But can we get that book anywhere?
Yeah, so the I Am, I Will. I have my sons running it now, so they want to sell it through Cash App and Zelle.
That's cool.
What's the other one? Cash App, Zelle, and
Venmo.
Venmo. But we're going to get the site up soon, and I'm also working with a few schools that purchased the books. We're developing the curriculum connected to the Common Core, so we can try to get it in classrooms across the nation. But just back to your, because I'm a preacher's son. I don't know if you.
Oh, here we go.
I'm a preacher's kid, and with everything that means, right? But we're not that deep tonight. But there's a scripture that I live by, which is similar to yours, is Ephesians 4:29. Make sure the words that you share are to build and not destroy.
Yeah, it's so true, man. Oh gosh, it's so true. And with what you do, so we're going to talk about this group that you have that I found you on. Found you in on Instagram. So can you explain how this even started? Why do you have it? We'll just go from there. So can you explain the whole thing with the group for everybody?
So I have a group on, it's a closed group on Facebook with 20,000 plus members called Finished, PhD Finished, EDD Finished, #Who Got Next. I graduated with my doctoral degree, my EDD, from Seton Hall University in New Jersey in 2010. And when I went through the journey, it's interesting. Again, I was saying this earlier on an earlier interview with Seton Hall, actually, that I didn't feel like a first generation student during my undergrad because all of my siblings, I'm the youngest of 5, they all went to college. So I didn't feel like a first gen, even though I will be defined as such because my parents didn't go. And when I earned my master's, it seemed like a cakewalk. It was just easy. But when I started my doctoral program, I ran into some challenges. I started to actually feel some of those things like imposter syndrome, self-doubt, anxiety. And I was able to push through, connected with some professors, mentors, people in my cohort. And what I did was I had a collection of experiences that I felt like almost anybody going through this journey needed to have these resources and these tools at their fingertips to be able to get through it. So I started the social media group in, I want to say January of 2017. And literally within a month, it was 1,000 members. So I felt the momentum, and then I was just encouraging people to promote the group on other platforms using the hashtag #WhoGotNext, post their regalia pictures, post resources, post other ways of motivation. And again, with the Ephesians 4:29 verse, it's connected to my personal passion, just to empower and inspire. I'm a playwright. I would define it as a retired rapper. So I just like words matter, and I want to make sure the words that I share can empower. So I like creative ways to help empower and inspire. So I just posted a picture of a Black scholar and a Latinx scholar, and I posted it, plantanos and collard greens, hashtag #WhoGotNext. Just anything to intrigue and inspire and just make people think and see themselves and believe. And if I don't know if you've been active in the group, I posted one time, like, how has this group impacted you? And I just couldn't stop reading the comments. I was so moved by the comments and what people were sharing about how the group has motivated them to not drop out of their program, to encourage others to start programs, to create a cohort of team success and network. And they found editors on the page and writing partners. So it's just a blessing. And that's so you were talking earlier about education and what we kind of go through as educators. Again, I'm looking for paid and unpaid ways to inspire folks. So this group is just a beautiful sight and a beautiful creation with members from across the globe who all are trying to get done. And then once they reach the top, can they send the elevator back down for those?
Leave the door open.
Leave the door wide open.
Yeah, I love that. And so the group is not just for, those who are Black or whatever, but it's open to anybody, I'm assuming, correct?
Yeah, so anything and everything I do is not race-based. I'm part of as I mentioned, the Educational Opportunity Fund program, and that's the model of it. It's focused. Obviously, folks are going to gravitate to the culture that I bring to it.
Of course,
it's open to all. I want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to take advantage of the resources that we share.
Yeah, and I asked that because I really wanted. I did some studies on this a couple of years ago. And I can't remember all the numbers, but I would love to know where we currently stand with for African American women and men who have earned degrees, some like doctoral degrees, and it's still very slim. I'm pretty sure things are growing, but compared to the majority, would you happen to know like where we are with that?
I know for the larger population, I always heard or read that it was less than 2% of the general population. So I'm assuming those numbers are even slimmer for us. One thing I will say was when I was in my program, and I don't know if it's just the power of social media, because I ended in 2010.
Okay.
I literally felt that I was alone and there wasn't a lot of folks that looked like me.
Yeah.
Now, and maybe because I'm so immersed in it, so many folks, I know at least 30 people personally within my own homegrown network, not the folks that I've met in my travels, who are now doctors now. And I didn't have that cohort. So I don't know what the numbers are, but with the power of social media and how we can connect and help folks see themselves. And again, people send me their regalia pictures when they're finished. I post it, and it just creates that community where even if you're at that predominantly white institution and feeling isolated and alone, you could come join us within this. So, and again, you can tell me how the group has helped you, but you belong onto this space.
Yeah,
the vibe of it is you. Yeah. It speaks to your experiences. Somebody just posted, I'm struggling, bleep, my second year. They just posted it in the group. Yeah. And I'm interested to see people who are going to encourage him to continue to go on, or, hey, brother, give me a call, let me know. Because one of the pieces, and I don't know if you're going through this now, and one of my advisors joked about this. Your partners and the people in your family may not have any clue about what you're struggling with. Like like imagine trying to explain to somebody in your immediate circle who's not in the program or understands it, the specifics that, oh, my advisor driving me nuts. They wouldn't understand how important that advisor is as a gatekeeper.
Yes.
So the cohort and the people within that group and the people within your cohort that you could just vent to and connect with and complain about that advisor or share resources, that is it's unbelievably important. And I'm just happy to see the group thrive with 20,000 plus members now and growing.
Yeah, and you know, it's awesome. Having that space where we can just be ourselves is certainly necessary, because we're already, I'll just say, just from a Black male on a campus like this, you know, you're already having people see you as that one, you know, pepper in the whole salt box. And it's like all eyes are on you. And sometimes, and it might even be just the whole thing with imposter syndrome, because sometimes, for those who don't know what that is, research it, because it does exist. But sometimes when that happens is, you know, you find yourself being somebody that you're not. But I believe that we can still be on a campus that does not reflect all of our culture, and for us to be comfortable with who we are.
One of the things you said that stood out for me as it relates to being a Black male is that, have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you were representing every Black man on the planet?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And the pressure, like, so some of the things we experience are real, and some of it is part of the imposter syndrome and how we kind of process it.
Yeah.
But what I've done, and it's still a work in progress, is I've just gotten to a point I just want to be my authentic self.
Yes.
And so when I show up, I'm showing up, whatever that is. The hip hop, I see a Biggie picture, you know.
Listen, I love Jesus, but I love Biggie.
Yeah, that's allowed. That's allowed.
Yeah.
But yeah, just being your authentic self, and, you know, like in my acknowledgments, I acknowledge, I think, like Wyclef and the creator of the Boondocks, like know, whatever I am, whoever I am is going to show up when I go to these rooms, and that's important for the next generation to understand that, because we have our own drama within our community. Yeah. About, you know, again, as I said earlier, like the intellectual Black person versus, you know, what's Black, what's not Black, and all of that drama. Yeah. So, you know, it's really important to just be your authentic self and be very comfortable in your identity. Claim it and let the world know exactly who you are.
That's exactly it. I'm going to have to definitely put that one on Facebook, for real. Listen, man, I certainly appreciate you. I don't want to keep you long, but I want just people to know who you are, what you have to offer, and where we're going as Black men. So can you tell people where they can follow you, your books, all of that stuff?
Yeah, so Danny Jean on Facebook and LinkedIn, at Words Travel on Instagram and Twitter. This is my book. You can contact me through social media, and we can, you know, it can produce that way. Also, if you're in the school district, this is the at Words Travel. If you're in the school district, it's appropriate for high school students and college age students as it relates to them really being very intentional in several developmental areas to identify their goals and aspirations. And what's important about this book is that although it's I am, I will, and who you are, who you plan to be, with action steps to get to where you want to be, we highlight that it's not about the willpower, it's about the why power. Why is this important to you? So for example, I am Danny Jean, I will change my diet. Why? Because hypertension runs in my family and obesity runs in my family. So that why is going to force you to be more focused and more disciplined. So this is my latest project. And please join Finished on Facebook if you are a future doctor. And if I can be of any help to anyone watching this video, please feel free to reach out to me directly.
Listen, Dan, we appreciate everything. Dr. Jean. Dr.
Yeah, I appreciate this convo, man.
Yeah, certainly. Listen, you all, thank you so much for checking us out, and we'll be sure to catch up with you next time. Y'all have a good one.